Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology update for December 1st through 8th, 2025. Well, we've been really feeling it, a lot of intensity, a lot of feelings with all of this water energy, with Saturn and Neptune back in Pisces and Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. So a big shift of energy this week with Saturn turning direct on November 28th and Mercury turning direct on November 30th. And so now we move. But where are we going? What are we doing? With Saturn and Neptune back in Pisces, it's like a complete dissolution of our realities, our personality constructs. You know, we've been going through the ego death and a very emotional, very powerful time. We've been blessed with this grand water trine as saying that, yes, it's excruciatingly painful to go and deal with the nitty gritty of your karma and overcome the last bit of the fear programming that's keeping us from stepping into our potential. But it's harmonized. We can go look at the dark. Black Moon Lilith coming to the end degrees of Scorpio. Black Moon Lilith is coming to 28 degrees on the 3rd. And so that is when Black Moon Lilith will come into this exact opposition. We're really feeling this with Uranus. Now, our personal planets, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Venus just made this opposition with Uranus on the 30th, the same day that Mercury turned direct, right? So there's powerful messages here. So all of our personal planets have been making this opposition with Uranus and Mercury 3 times. And so it's the hallmark energy, right, of what's going on. Now we've got Saturn and Neptune in sextile. Saturn's moving forward now, coming back into sextile with Uranus at the end of, with Saturn at the end of Pisces, Uranus at the end of Taurus. And these are both planets that have gone back into these signs, right, after transiting into the next sign. So we're going back, we're rehashing, we're uncovering, we're, in Uranus. So every single planet right now is in communication with Uranus through trine, Pluto, sextile, Neptune, Uranus, conjunction with, sextile with Neptune and Saturn, and all of these planetary oppositions. So the third and final Mercury opposite Uranus happens on the 11th of December. And that's really powerful. So this is our time here of December 1st through the 11th when Mercury is making its third and final pass through the end degrees of Scorpio. The third pass is, now Mercury gives us our most dynamic experience of this retrograde energy, right? And because it's so quick, it's 3 weeks, it's 6 weeks total, like a week and a half or so before, a week and a half or so after, where it's going in and coming out of shadow, but it's basically a 6 week to 2 month energy, for Mercury retrograde. So it's a quick turnaround. Mercury's our mind. We need a quick turnaround. Scorpio to Sag is a quick turnaround, and it's very powerful because this cusp is one of the most powerful, potent cusps, because Scorpio is the deep dive. Scorpio has this energy ruled by Mars, as is Aries, right? And Pluto. But the Mars energy of Scorpio, we have to remember, it's life and death. So it's when you have to face the disease, face the darkness, face what's been hidden, go deeper in order to survive, right? And Scorpio sees beyond the veil, so it's a lot about our intuitive perception, like through struggle and deep dive and intensity, but also just beautiful journeys into the unknown, but pushing our psyche beyond, into a broader understanding. Now that's Sagittarius. So this is like we're coming out of the deep dive, right? So this is like the shamanic journey, and then back into the revelation. And that's kind of the energy of this time. And here we have Venus today sitting at this place of revelation of the divine feminine. And tomorrow, Venus in sextile to Pluto. So this is also what all these planets have been making, and that means also a trine to Neptune. So it's just so dynamic to have all this happening. And it's like every single personal planet and all parts of ourselves are getting completely reworked. It's like we're going back into the Oopa Loopa machine or something, it's like, and we have to completely rework all parts of ourselves as these planets go through this journey. So it's like the grand water trine, so beautiful. And then this opposition with Uranus and sextile Pluto trine Neptune. And so it's like, those are all our big player planets, right? Big generational player planets. And so to be in a trine with Jupiter and Saturn, because remember, Jupiter and Saturn are generational change maker planets. So when they're interacting, it's about a change in our whole regime change, basically. And so it's like we know we're claiming back the Earth because Jupiter is square Chiron. And we're in a battle for life or death and facing the darkness, but it's harmonized, And so it's beautiful to have the energy of this grand water trine to move us into December, because December has a different energy, because all of our personal planets will be coming into square with the nodes, square with Saturn, square with Neptune, right? So we're going from this harmonious interaction, except in opposition with Uranus, and then moving into a kind of crossroads moment, right? Because this full moon that we're coming up upon, the Gemini full moon, happens on December 4th and 5th. Depending where you are in the world, it is a very powerful full moon happening at 13 degrees of Gemini. And so this is very powerful. So the nodes of the moon are just points out in space, right? But they're very powerful around destiny poles. It's almost like if we look at Jupiter and Saturn as the old king, new king, like old wisdom, new wisdom, like interaction of knowledge and wisdom and structures and ideas and expansions, then we can look at the nodes as the pole, right? And the north node is the pull of destiny forward. The south node is what is holding you back karmically from the past, And so the nodes of the moon were sitting there at 18 degrees at those eclipses that we had in October. And so we are halfway. Now the nodes are, the sun and the moon will be in square to the nodes for this full moon, which makes it so powerful, so crossroads. But it's mutable signs, which is about adjusting and transformation. So it really is the time that we shed that skin. This is the year of the snake. We only have 2 more months. Keep that in mind, right? But again, that the skin, it's uncomfortable before it sheds, very uncomfortable as it sheds, so unknown, so vulnerable to prey. As you're shedding the skin, you can't move. And after you shed the skin, you can't move. You're too vulnerable, and you just kind of need to lay in the sun and hope nobody comes to feed on you. And yet we've got this massive bloom. It's like this picture of landing this New Jerusalem, the city of light, to fuse into this earth, right? And in order to do that, we have to bring it through the lower astral plane. And the lower astral plane is blooming with all kinds of the scariest demons and monsters, except for that none of that shit's real, right? I mean, as far as like compared to the organic, energetic power we have as advanced souls incarnate in bodies on Mother Earth. And this is what she's saying, you better start celebrating this. If you are my child and you've been here since the beginning, you have no idea what this means to embody, she says. She's like, you better start enjoying this miracle of being conscious as a steward of Mother Earth, because that means your body is her body. Her body is awakening, and it's the most glorious, beautiful, energetic field, but only if we reach out and say hello and have gratitude and reciprocity. And, it's like, but what would it look like if we lived our lives? It's like, oh my God, awakening? Oh, facing all this dark truth, going through the breakdown of all the structures, the deep, dark nights of the soul, all of that. But then this glimpse and this picture and this feeling, right? This is an energetic, vibrational feeling of being connected with her awakening body. It is a technicolor dream. And it is available to us, when we can come back across the great divide and forge a connection back with her, But in this glimpse of this plasma train, of reality moving through not time and space, but reality, like a whole different way of operating. And yet we still get to have our bodies and our expressions here in this 3D reality. We're just fusing it with a higher potential as well. We're all going up. Earth is all going up. And so those buildings or those structures that aren't in alignment with her beauty and her love and her truth, might not survive. And these are our ego constructs, right? And all the structures of our world. But a glimpse of this, what is beyond the glorious demolition, the rainbow after the storm of this dream. And like, okay, we went through hell, I'm back, and we're still kind of battling demons. But we are standing, taking a moment to forge enough, I can kind of see like this picture of this battlefield and Michael, Archangel Michael showing up, and his sword is just so powerful, he just has to wield it, and a moment of rest in the battle that we've been in on a cellular level, and it's just so exhausting spiritually right now, but a rest from the battle, that sword that you can carry too, in your spine. It's like can hold the sacred space for you to just psychically rest, and have a glimpse of this. She says that what if you finally realized, and that means supernova souls and eventually wider humanity, what a freaking miracle it is to be in her body. And it just is. And so from that place, we can invite massive forgiveness for whatever we had to go through. The power of the souls that played out the darkest stuff for us. Forgiveness and redemption. Because it's not just a balancing of karma. It's about coming into the reason why we went through it all. And when you have a glimpse of this energy, this vibration, this frequency, this feeling in your body, as her body, and the miracle and celebration of what life it really is and meant to be, and you get to lead the way to show this to humanity, so we better rest up, and we better heal, and we better get over all these constructs that we're like addicted to. We're going through this like Stockholm syndrome of so used to being quarantined in our psyche to be handled through these AI matrix systems. It's like, it's taking a lot of will force and spiritual devotion and dedication to keep in our own mind, in our own frequencies, in our own reality, and so, of course, it makes sense because it's all trying to distract us, right, from this feeling, this awakening, where we know We no longer have Stockholm syndrome because we're like, wait a minute. I'm being invited by this sentient being, goddess, Mother Earth, to come back into her arms, walk with her and live with her and express everything beautiful. Okay, so this is what's come through. She said, this is a new Renaissance energy. She said that you love me, show me your love, you expand my love, you play our new game, not those silly games, Game of Clones, We're going to play this new game, and you win, and I win when you creatively express yourself and you bring forward what's inside of you in a beautiful way. So your creative expression is how you worship Mother Earth. I mean, we don't want to get into this too much of like worship, devotional, like cult-like thing, but it kind of feels like that because when you feel this connection, you're like, oh, this is everything. I want to bring everyone back here. I just feel it. We have named this thing so many things. Why don't we start calling it what it is? Because she is showing me her body, her beautiful, luminous body. And we are a part of it. So we are to become beautiful and luminous. And it's just like all of this collapses. The whole matrix collapses, as we stand at this gate, this portal. Now, this is kind of the energy of December. We've got a lot of intensity all at once, and we've had this like water trine to harmonize, but that's coming off. But we still have Jupiter and Saturn. They're still in trine. They're going to be in trine through, they're still just 1 degree out of trine right now. And then on the 9th, they'll move to 2 degrees out. So they'll be in trine till the end of December, the end of the year. But at the same time, we've got this like really intense culmination of things, because going back to that opposition with Uranus, this is really important because if Mercury made it 3 times and then the Sun made it and Venus made it and Mars made it, that's 6 passes of this opposition with Uranus. And Uranus has gone back into Taurus, right? And so we are closing the chapter of Uranus in Taurus. And this is about awakening to true wealth, because Uranus is the awakener and Taurus represents resources, And so awakening to the true wealth means, wait, we need to know the truth about how our money and resources have been stolen to create war after war and do horrible things. But we also have to understand what true value is, because we've been sold value of a paper money and there's nothing to back that up. And everything's fake, we got LED lights and we got, everything is fake. Everything's edited and filtered and an illusion. And it's like, whoa, we are so in this energy with Neptune back in Pisces. But guess what? Neptune turns direct on December 11th, right? So this is a short journey. It feels like it'll last forever. Like the curtain closed on that beautiful future because it was like, oh, now you got to deal with all this, Got to go back to that treachery in that court, King's Court. That oppression under that emperor. That, teacher, healer, but going up always against these energies. But what if these energies were playing their role to get us to this point, which now we can call it by name, which is that we live on a planet. We're spiritual beings, souls embodied here. This is not who we are, but it's a sacred experience of the temple. We get to live in the temple. We're, rebuilding the temple in our very own body through this connection with Mother Earth. It's New Jerusalem. It's a city of light. It's the garden reborn. And so this is the wealth we're uncovering, right? Taking back the gold. But the true gold is actually Mother Earth. Because think about it. There's say this all these resources out there of, say the story of planets and the resources of mineral content. But very few planets have the organic life, this beautiful organism that can support life. And she says, wake up to me. It's like, just a little bit of tough love, but she's like, wake up to me. Hello, you're living in my body and we're ascending. This is Earth ascension. We are here for Earth ascension as her body. It's so beautiful. And that's what they wanted to keep us from remembering. And so coming back to this consciousness of understanding the feminine principle incarnate as the world we get to walk upon, and that new Earth is just understanding this. But it's that whole thing that we say the words, well, life should be an ecstatic existence. I've heard her say this, but I've seen it now. I've seen a picture of it. Once you see it and you feel it, it can't go away. And you will devote your life to it, just like you did every single lifetime. This is who I am. This is what I fight for. This is what we came to do. And you guys need to get out of the way so we can complete, right? It's not just about getting rid of the bad guys. It's about taking everything to a new level of consciousness. And we're coming into a massive portal around this here in December. Because now our personal planets went through all that powerful dynamic energies. Grand water trine with Jupiter and Saturn. First they trined the nodes. Grand water trine with Jupiter and Saturn. And then opposition with Uranus, trine Neptune, sextile Pluto. Right? All the big players. So it's like checking in. And so it's saying the awakening of true wealth. Pluto is the new visionary leaders that we need to come forward to move into the Aquarian age in its placement right now. It's an initiation, right? And then we've got Neptune revisiting the nightmares of the past in order to dream a new dream. And so all of that confusion and empowerment and awakening. But these planets are all in there, except for Pluto, right? That's now moving forward in Aquarius, not in new territory yet till January, but still moving forward in Aquarius. But these other ones have gone back into their previous signs, So this interaction is all about reflecting back to the past. With Mercury retrograde and Saturn and Neptune and Pisces and Mercury retrograding back into Scorpio. And so our personal planets are now moving into a different journey. And so we know that in December we have the second exact square between Jupiter in Cancer and Chiron in Aries, which is a fight to the death for the life force on Earth, right? It just has this energy exactly of the warriors, her warriors standing up and being like, wait a minute. I remember those ancient pure rituals, right? Before the corruption of this connection and gratitude and way of living with Mother Earth that you were always, that's the religion. Behind all of these religions, the true religion was the goddess-based religion. That's what Yeshua brought. That's what's really written in all of the great books, spiritual books. And so we're going to come to understand this, right? And so basically we are Jupiter square Chiron. The third and final one is going to be in July, the 1st through 3rd of July. And so it's very powerful because that's, like we talked about right now, we're having the third and final pass of Mercury through this transits. And the third and final Jupiter square Chiron will be when we complete the freeing of Mother Earth. And it's just so crazy that it leads us up to Independence Day in the US, where this moment happened. And we never actually claimed independence. We never won the war. We've been manipulated by the banking system and big money and power and control ever since. All of us, right? Seeking more and more global control over even our thoughts and our biology. And so mom says, well, this can't go on, And so we need a massive purification miracle. And that's you. Something that came through the visioning sessions that I hope that you would consider joining. These are 4 visionary sessions. We meet on Fridays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, except for the third one will be on a Thursday because of the new moon in Sagittarius activation. But 4 sessions in December and then a sharing circle. So 5 times together, and it's a sliding scale, and it would be wonderful to have you because we're branding this. We're figuring out what is it we've worked for all these lifetimes that we want to bring to humanity. What are we doing? Can we put this in terms that people can understand and come together as a group, figure out how we're moving forward now that we understand the depth of our soul connections? And so it's a very beautiful energy of the supernova expansion, And so very, very powerful energy with the second Jupiter square Chiron, the fight for the life of Mother Earth. Does she get to be the garden? Does we get to have her? And, can we kick these off the planet? And can we have permission for her ascension and spiritual evolution, what she wanted to become, what she was created for? And that's where we've all felt. You're not living the life you were created for. I mean, maybe you are. I mean, we've gotten more and more better and better supernova souls at owning ourselves and following our path and our purpose. But there's way more to the story, And we've gotten this energy around, this is what was coming through the visionary sessions, that understanding the brand of Mother Earth, what does it mean to love Mother Earth and be her Earth steward, and what we're talking about in this connection to her. And so we had that insight around our creative potential, bringing forward our creative expression. And also we are delineating and understanding, what we stand for and who we are. So it's a beautiful exploration, and it feels like that's what this astrology is all about too, like kind of facing who we are. We got that message that in December we would be this revelation of supernova souls, who you really are to yourself. And the revelation to the public comes later, it feels like. So that's cool. I'll have some time to prepare, But this connection with her and consciousness with her and gratitude with her is that true wealth. And so we are fighting for that and figuring out what that is and what that means. And then is it that full potential within you? So coming back to this branding, this message that we got around who we are and what we're doing by loving Mother Earth is repairing DNA. This makes so much sense because we've gotten these messages. So much is coming up around these. That supernova soul, for you to get a body in this lifetime, the magical lineages have been taken over and infiltrated and made sick, and disease and war and trauma and murder and poisoning and all that, right? But that's the body, the lineage you need to come into your full potential. And so we're literally, as we heal ourselves right now, we are doing the lineage healing we have always wanted to do. Maybe that's Year of the Snake. It's so powerful. And so I don't even know what it means, right, for DNA repair, or can it be corrupted, or is the original always in there? The original dream of what it wants to be, and we just need to activate that original dream of what it wants to be. And that's kind of coming back to you, right? So as DNA repair is activating, and loving Mother is activating who and what you were meant to be, like what's inside of you that wants to come forward. It was written way before time, it's nothing you can change or adjust. It's your dream. And so, but the DNA corruption in these lineages has made it so that that's obfuscated, right? We can't see it. It's eclipsed from us. And now it's being revealed. So in order for it to be revealed, we've got to really kind of narrow our focus get rid of all of what's not true, right? And that's the energy of the December astrology, because we've got that second Jupiter square Chiron. That's from the 19th to the 27th. So the whole second part of December will be, we've been feeling this all the way since the beginning of September. Jupiter square Chiron. It has not let off. So keep this in mind. But now we also have what this whole story we've been talking about of all of our personal planets opposing Uranus. And it's all leading up to, because they've been conjunct Black Moon Lilith oppose Uranus. So all of our planets doing this while Black Moon Lilith and Uranus inch closer and closer into that exact opposition. And we're here. Black Moon Lilith exactly opposite of Uranus from the 3rd of December to the 11th of December. Now this is a sacred time because we've got Mercury from the 1st to the 11th of December moving through the third and final time, the blessing, the magic, the miracle, the charm, the undoing of the curse in this case, with Mercury going through that final pass of Scorpio. It's so powerful. So Mercury will be the final one to make all these transits and move us into the next story. So with Black Moon Lilith exactly opposite Uranus, Mercury in the Grand Water trine from the 2nd to the 14th. So we've got Mercury harmonizing it, third pass through the Grand Water trine. It's kind of like, all right, understanding is coming and it's been rough waters, but we really can't get anywhere without calming the waters. Because we got that message that when it's only when you can take away all other frequency and get back to the primary waters, the clean slate with all the potential of what it can be. You can only create from a clean slate. That's why we have to have plenty of meditation time right now, clear our space and feel into the inner world that's calling us. This is a journey into the wilderness. I'm not sure of the 40-day marker. I guess I would say that Mercury moving into Sagittarius on the 12th, So we're looking at since a period of time since the beginning of November. That would make sense with the Mercury retrograde and whatever. So if you feel like you've been in the wilderness, you've got 12 more days. So you better make that shit work for you. Face down Satan and take your power back. Because there is nothing out there with authority over you. It's all been a game and a cheat and delusions, a hall of mirrors. And Neptune back in Pisces turning direct on the 11th, saying, wait a minute, whoa. We accepted this reality for 2,000 years of sacrifice and persecution and trying to be like Jesus in that way. Now we're going to go back to the original vision of what Jesus came and brought us, which is light body, right? He was the first one to show us this in public, right? It's a public teaching of an ancient mystery. These ancient mysteries are the ancient goddess religion from Atlantean time and from ancient Egypt, all the way back to Lemurian time. Anybody who really knows that we're walking on her body. And we've been waiting all of this time, centuries, eons, for her body to awaken. And there's been chains and false grids and false quarantine. But now we are at the gate, so we've got some Stockholm syndrome. We got to work it out. We got to recognize that the ones we've been trying to heal have been like, we want to have been trying to forgive and heal our oppressors. But it's like, yes, we want to heal everything last bit of pure, true human soul essence that can be healed. The sun and the rain shines and falls equally on every bit of this manifest world, which is her body, But we also have to be really clear about what we stand for and our boundaries, right? And this is part of the visionary sessions. Who are we? What do we stand for? Because a brand of a business, or personal brand, or a brand of a business is like your roadmap. right? Like, it's like what you come back to be able to make decisions in what way to go or who to hire or whatever, say in a business. And so in your personal life, your branding or our SuperNova brand can just be something to fall back on. This is who we are. This is how you put it into words. This is how you bring forward the energy. This is how the embodiment, this is how we help each other do what we're here to do. And we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. The hidden, they didn't want us to remember, so they had to try to corrupt our DNA. But Mom has the original plan. And our dream is in that original plan. And so Uranus back into Taurus is an activation of that true wealth, of our true inheritance, the true gold. But guess what? Now we're saying, wait, organic life, Mother Earth is the true gold. Because we have a sentient being we get to live upon in bodies and learn and grow. And so coming back to that whole energy of worship and devotion, which was in the Piscean age turned into the dark and control, right? But we kind of need to take it back because that is the natural way you feel when you come into contact with this energy. You want to bow down and say, thank you for opening the way in my heart back to this connection that I get to have a mother, right? We have a mother. She's been here all along. We've been disconnected from her, and she's been asleep and tortured and just disconnected, abducted from the planet. Who knows what's happened, right? But it's our realm, and she's here. We know in the original dream that she's here for us and her children of light who want to ascend and evolve with her. And so a lot of this is December astrology is figuring out like what can make it through that portal, into this new reality, because the combination of Jupiter square Chiron exact and Black Moon Lilith opposite Uranus exact. Now it's interesting because Black Moon Lilith opposite Uranus is exact in the first half of December and Jupiter square Chiron second half. And a little bit of a thing in between, but I don't know, man. It's intense. It's like, just understand you're at the birth canal moment, right? On one hand, you're getting the message to rest. Give yourself permission to psychically rest, but you're also at the birth canal moment. But maybe that's the thing where there's a surge of energy in a pregnant woman's life just before the birth, right? And this kind of gathering up, also tiredness and needing to sleep a lot, and it's just like that preparation time. And so it does feel like this big push because it's so crazy. So once we get through these squares, so we got those two squares going on in December. What we also have is all of our personal planets taking turns coming into a square with the nodes of the moon, just like the sun is doing for this Gemini full moon on the 4th and 5th. And then a square with Saturn and a square with Neptune. So this journey, we've had Mars already square the nodes, and the sun is coming into a square with the nodes, and this starts the whole journey. So the sun square the nodes is at this full moon, grand mutable cross. And so where the ball is rolling on this, because it's kind of like, all right, face the karma, face the lies, face the delusions. You can't take that shit with you. You're not seeing clearly. Uranus is illuminating the true wealth. Neptune is moving forward with the true path to the whole potential, right? Neptune over the Aries point for the 3rd time at the end of January, the full potential of the human. Are we going to do it or are we not? Because we do not have a choice. We cannot do it part way. Supernova souls go all the way, right? And they can either explode in the supernova process, right? This is our rapid expansion right now. At some point, supernova souls come to this point where they have to go through a rapid transformation, going into the cocoon and coming out with wings. That's just part of being a supernova soul. And the supernova star goes through a combustion process, emits a huge amount of light, and then either becomes a white dwarf, which is a teacher, an ancient wisdom, holding the ancient wisdom, or they completely explode into to the raw materials to create totally new worlds, right? So we're old and we're new. Super is old, wisdom, and nova is new star. So this is who we are. And we're combustible. It might be a little bit frightening for people around you, which is a good time to cocoon for December because your light's turning on, okay? You might want to just only deal with this right now, the fact that you have to assimilate and adjust to your light turning on, because all these squares that are happening with the nodes, Saturn, and Neptune, right? So first Mars, then the Sun, then Venus, then Mercury. All in mutable signs, and mutable signs are about adjusting. So we're saying, yep, this is the shedding of the skin. It's a square, which is impossible feeling, right? Can't keep going the way you're going, can't take it with you, all that. But it is mutable, which is about transformation. And Mercury in this time through the grand water trine is such a gift. We have to focus on that because we're going into the birth canal, into the square. So Mars squares up with Saturn on December 9th. So we'll be feeling that next week, like pretty much right after the full moon. So the full moon is on the 4th, 5th. The activation will be Thursday, December 4th. I hope you can join us. It's so powerful, this full moon. And right after that, we'll be feeling Mars take his turn, coming into square with Saturn and Neptune. So square with Saturn is on the 9th of December, and then square with Neptune is on the 14th of December. The Sun squares up with Saturn on the 17th, squares with Neptune on the 21st, Venus on the 21st and 24th. So you can see the power of this solstice, okay? Because on the solstice, right now today, we've got Venus moving over into Sag, but we haven't quite gotten out of the retrograde darkness. So we're not going to be able to really feel that, but we do feel it. It's almost like that awakening within. Oh, the divine feminine. Oh yeah, the life force, the creation force. Like this is why we live. And I feel an embodiment of it, and I'm just only can focus on that. I can't put any energy into any of these games, I just got to celebrate this. And if you are around me, you will be celebrating this and doing this, or get the fuck out of the way, right? Like, let's go, world. Let's go, SuperNova. But we got to get through the birth canal. And so it's powerful that we've got. So let's just talk about this interaction. Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, square the nodes, square Saturn, square Neptune, and then move into Capricorn. Now, when the planets move into Capricorn, which is starting this month, they start this parade, aligning up. I mean, they're already in the parade. I mean, they're starting to come into the parade. So the first start of the parade is getting to the parade. It's like, when you go to an important ceremony or gathering or transformational experience, you'll often get lost or something will happen that kind of obstructs the way. And because it's kind of like a true spiritual transformational experience. You have to go on a journey. You have to have a transformational, like you're preparing for the ceremony so that you can receive. It's like fasting before the ceremony or something, right? Fasting before the feast. And that's kind of this energy of December. And so let's talk about this, because all of our personal planets in Sagittarius, which is about our quest. Now, part of what's coming through with Saturn and Neptune back in Pisces is that our quest was not a true quest. We got distracted in our mission in the Piscean age. Along this programming, it says to be a spiritual means to be persecuted, to have to hide the secrets, to have to sacrifice ourselves, and sacrifice our path, sacrifice our life for the secrets, And it's like, we are the greatest secret, but it'll be cool to uncover those hidden scrolls and get the full truth, right? Bring it on. But so that's what's going on too, right? This is a massive disclosure energy. So square with the nodes, North Node Pisces. Now this is the full moon too, right? Exactly square the nodes. And it's so powerful that this full moon happens right when the nodes move back to 13 degrees, and so the sun and moon in square with the nodes right when they hit 13 degrees. 13 is a number that is representative of the divine feminine, the M in the alphabet. It's mother, it's everything. And yet the 13th floor has been, accused of being dangerous, magical, or haunted, right? So it's that whole thing of the intuitive, occult feminine that was only meant on mother's laws and rules to work for humanity without agenda, personal agenda and mother's plan and rules. That's what the occult is for alignment, And so then that was misused and called evil and wrong and bad and distorted, and the magic used for ego and gratification, for, the accumulation of power and money. And so we have to take back the magic. I don't know, that feels like Black Moon, Lilith, and Scorpio opposite Uranus and Taurus, because Uranus is the hidden magic, the hidden wealth, which is intuitive power. That's who held the power in the past, in Atlantean time, the intuitive, powerful souls. Then they were taken over, manipulated through their naivety, their niceness, their purity by the sons of Belial to relinquish the technologies. So those of us pure Atlanteans and those of us that got caught up in that drama are feeling a lot of shame and regret, not because we necessarily did something wrong, but that we couldn't stop that takeover. And it's like that's what's keeping us from really coming back into connection with Mother Earth, and that feeling loved, held, and worthy of her energetic field connected to your energetic field, which is plasma bliss. Okay. So anyway, we're going to get through the birth canal to plasma bliss, and this is what we're doing. So the nodes, north node, square the nodes, north node Pisces, south node. So this is all about the quest, because all our personal planets are in Sagittarius. So it's like getting on the right quest. Mercury retrograde, we got to figure this out. We got to go back into Scorpio. We got to face the darkness so we can get on the true quest. That's why when Mercury comes on the 12th and moves back into Sagittarius, that third and final pass through the first 6 degrees of Sagittarius, that's when we come to the top of the mountain and we get a better view. But it's rocky and it's confusing, and there's still clouds and fog in the way with with Neptune still in Pisces. And so through January, we've got fog. But January is about this December and January coming out of the delusions and the fog of the Piscean age, which of course we've been told again and again means reclaiming the miracles and the magic of who we are. So is this mother's plasma body connection? Is this the dream we came here to dream? And we can have forgiveness and redemption and correction and make it all right? It's all right. Every wrong that was done is all right, because now we're here home and it's okay. We're so powerful that we're safe and within our own being. We see this, we're invincible. Our field is growing stronger and more real every day. Can we rest in this and let her hold us in her arms? The Mercury Grand Water Trine for the third and final pass to prepare for the birth that lies ahead, So the energies of our personal planets then with the nodes of the moon, right? So we've got to find a new way forward and heal the delusions of the Piscean age. And it's all about cleaning up the earth, South Node Virgo, right? And then they come, every planet will in the procession coming into a square with Saturn. And Saturn is making its way back through. Won't make it to 26. Is that been at 25 degrees for the last 3 months or so? Turning direct, but won't make it back to 26 degrees until the end of December. So Saturn is hovering, at the 25 marker. Even though he's turned direct, we don't see it. We don't feel it, And maybe after that Mercury retrograde resolves, which Mercury comes out of retrograde on the 17th of December. So we're just in this strange pre-birth experience right now. And it's hard. We're coming up against everything that's false that we can't take with us. And that's the energy of our personal planets coming into square with Saturn. So the old laws and rules, but now we're going to change them, and square with Neptune, facing off against the delusions of the past. Say, wait a minute, I played that game, but that's not who I am. I remember who I am now. And now we go into the full potential. It is so powerful for Neptune to move back into Aries on the 27th of January. Saturn moves back into Aries on the 15th of February. And this is, so in the period of this time is when we have all of these squares with our personal planets, so that's like Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, square Saturn and Neptune. That's 8 squares, so the period of 8 squares. And it's so powerful that's the punctuation at the end of the Mercury retrograde cycle, and so the period between the 5th of December and the 24th of December is when we'll be feeling all of these squares, 8 squares. And that's so wild because it takes us through that solstice time. But the solstice is so powerful because Venus is the one. Venus will be square Saturn, exact. So the feminine authority, this is what we're feeling now, is like a true glimpse of the visionary authority of the feminine, what it's really supposed to be. Not the dark mother that withholds resources and creates catastrophes as punishment. No, we're not buying it. We want our true mother, right? And so Venus right now, sextile Pluto, tomorrow, is this glimpse of what it means to be the rightful leaders, be in charge, the ones in alignment. It's not woman or a man, it's those in alignment with Mother Earth. That's the goddess religion. The goddess religion is a perfect balance of masculine and feminine in service to her, because she's the sexiest, most beautiful thing we could possibly experience. And we've been asleep to this, and we wake up to it, and we fall in her arms, and we say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was away so long. And thank you for waking up, and thank you for sticking with me. And what a beautiful and incredible journey of this reciprocity of love. So there you get to the true worship, right? That it's just like, the true devotion. And you want to do everything in your power and use all of what's in you to create her beautiful dream, just like you did from the beginning, And so there's no way around this. And we've been missing true, healthy ritual and true, healthy devotion. How can you have gratitude if you don't have devotion? If you don't feel like you're in awe. But it's not in awe of a power outside of ourselves, right? So it's like Yeshua's teachings are landing home. Same teachings as Moses, Elijah, all of them, right? The kingdom is within you. And so we are landing this home. And the experience of that is the kingdom is here. And it's her body. And I get to be a part of it because I built all these temples. I know the specifications of the temples. And I get to build them in my body with my organic chemistry that's becoming enlightened and activated, the potential of our glandular system that's been hidden from us, intoxified. It's like when that energy is, it is, we're going through a great detox December. Pretty much you could call it a detox, massive detox month, because we're coming up against bad boy Saturn, who's trying to move forward but can't make an inch, right? It's a stubborn energy of the old constructs of the Piscean age, and then square with Neptune. But this is where we realize that it was lies that created those constructs. And you see the truth and you're saying, oh, you're not like me. I've been going up against this battle, but you're not like me. You're working outside the laws of karma. You want to do deliberate harm. And so I cannot remain beholden to you as an external authority. I didn't, it's like we're coming to realize, wait a minute. No, that's not my gig. That's not my game. Because to get out of Stockholm Syndrome, you have to recognize that that you're different than your captors. That's the empowerment that allows you to set yourself free, And so this is it. This is the battle. It's like the delusions, the laws, the rules, the authority, the delusions, laws, rules, authority. And it's so crazy because all of these planets are lining up in a procession, right? So the first part of the procession is getting to the procession. All the obstacles, it's like Raiders of the Lost Ark or whatever, right? And so that's these Saturn, Neptune squares, right? All through the last 3 weeks of December. And then the planets move into Capricorn. And then it's this crazy, beautiful lining up you know? Like Mars is the first to move into Capricorn on the 16th, the Sun on the 22nd of December, and then Venus on the 25th. Okay, so the Sun moving into Capricorn on the 22nd, the 21st is solstice. That's marks the marker of solstice. And so we're looking at the shortest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, the longest day of the year in the Southern Hemisphere, and coming to a balance, a return, you know. It's such a sacred time of year, even though it wasn't really when Yeshua was born. You're celebrating him by celebrating the Sun King returning in the sky. Right? Like, and so it's like the sun pauses for 3 days, and that's the sacred stillness and sacred silence, you know? And in the past, or there's a sessions I've done called the Holy Nights of Peace, and I'm considering doing those live again this year. Very sacred time this year, of course, every solstice. But as we move beyond the solstice, you know, as the sun moves into Capricorn and we come out of these squares, what happens is that all the planets line up together and conjunct each other between the 5th of January to the 21st of January. The Sun, Venus, Mars, and Mercury all come into a little game of connection at the end degree, from the middle to the end degrees of Capricorn. That's when those conjunctions happen with the personal planets. So this is about coming into our own authority, because Capricorn is about coming in, like owning your authority, is everything we've been working on, getting that Pluto in Capricorn, like understanding, getting out from under the false authority, becoming strong enough in our own authority, right? So Capricorn is about owning your authority. You've got a lot of Capricorn, you're a leader, you've been an authority in the past lives, and you need to reconcile the issues of having authority or giving away your authority or being oppressed by authority, right? Heavy duty energy when we have Pluto in there for this last 20 years or so, right? 12 years. And so now we are having this. So as after the 21st of January, when the sun moves into Aquarius, all those planets line up there at the end degrees of Capricorn. And then they all take turns moving into Aquarius and coming up to that conjunction with Pluto. And it's like the squares of December are the pilgrimage to get to the road, the mountain, the path, right? Almost like the grand water trines are the revelation, the spiritual revelation of like, wait, there's way more. This is all falling apart only. This is so weird only because it's about to shift, right? It's so inside out and backwards only because it's about to turn around, right? So this glimpse and imagination and activation of our vision and imagination and healing the darkness and facing our subconscious, right? And then we're called to the path of the pilgrimage, right? But we got to get and find the road. We got to get the map. We got to go find who knows how to get there. We got to go through the storm, get our supplies together. And it's just like, so that's the part of December with all those squares with Saturn and Neptune, the nodes, Saturn, Neptune. And then they come into this, they get on the path, right? So starting in January, the first conjunction is the Sun and Venus. And then Venus will come up with Mars in that early part, and then the Sun, Mars, right? And so it's like, oh, hey, there you guys are. Oh my God, we've been all doing this crazy journey. We're all out there on our own, going through this, what we needed to go through to get on the path to find each other and, move into what we're really here to do. Activation of our true purpose, path, and mission, which is exactly the message we got around Mercury going through Sagittarius for the third and final, through the early degrees of Sagittarius for the third and final time. So that's from the 12th to the 17th. On the 17th, Mercury comes out of retrograde shadow. And so then comes into all these squares and into the procession, right? So he's tumbling. He's like, whoa, I went into the dungeon and then back to the top of the mountain. And now I'm tumbling down to meet you guys on the path. And we'll see what we can find ahead as we face whatever is in the way of getting to the top of the mountain. Because there you will find Pluto. And Pluto Pluto is mysterious. Okay, it's just like we don't understand. It's small and yet it's huge. It's such the effect of it in our life, because everywhere as leaders we're scared of our own power, or those of us who've worked with advanced technologies in the past, is ruled by Pluto. So meeting Pluto, now Pluto in Aquarius is like, well, where's the visionary leaders, you guys? Come on. It's not about external authority. It's about God and within you, living, breathing, step into Mother's garden, let's go. But there's pressure, right? And so this is the journey to the top of the mountain to meet God and recognize Pluto's like, it's within you all along, Or to play out all this power games so you could know how powerful you are. You could have all this deep, demonic, dark shit so you could see so clearly what you're not, right? Mom says, I'm going to show you what you're not so that you can finally see who you are. I'm going to show you so strong what you're not, you can finally see who you really are. And let's go. So they come together for this arduous journey, but at least they're together up the mountain, right? And that happens through this December part. And then the conjunctions of in Capricorn are like this bouncing off. It's like, oh, that part was a part of me. That archetype, this person's lesson for me was a part of me, like integrating all these parts of ourselves. January, putting ourselves back together for the final month of the year of the snake. And then meeting Pluto. So the personal planets meet Pluto between the 23rd through the 30th of January. And then 27th of January is when Neptune moves into Aries. The dream of the whole full potential of humanity, just as we get ready to move into the Chinese year of the horse, the fire horse, because horses are born running, right? So mom says, oh yeah, here's the birth canal. Here it is, the final squeeze. Are you ready? Because you're going to be born running. But this is kind of, maybe it's also a healing for supernova souls because we've been born running. Like we've had these traumatic experiences in our past life that cause us to go, I got to go right back in there and try to deal with this and fix this and make up for what I didn't do and balance and fight the enemy. And, the same battle every time, hit the ground running. But this time we hit the ground in a freedom race, in a glorious celebration derby, and like it's time to run with it. And so all of our personal plans coming to meet Pluto at the top of the mountain and to say, yes, I recognize, it's almost like a recommitment to Mother and to all of the prophets, all the teachers that have brought us to this place, a recommitment to the goddess and understanding that that's what it was about all along. She's a chick, because the only way we can get to her is through her. We were born through a woman, through a womb. This is the biggest trick that got the whole thing of Oz behind the curtain. Goes back to this one lie. And so we embody this. We walk with her and she's like, woo, do you feel this plasma awakening? Can you see this whole other reality that you can just fold into and walk with and be with? And just, that's where we go, I made it to the top of the mountain. Pluto showed me his trickery. I see the rainbow behind him. I step into this rainbow light body. I walk with Mother Earth. I am her body. I'm walking in the garden. Walking in Mother's garden is rainbow light body. So there we go. And this is part of the reason that for those of you who took advantage of the flash sale for owning your energetic field, I'm sorry, there's a little bit of tech issues. I'm getting that figured out, today, there is I want to get together, work with this material, bring our consciousness into this owning your energetic field, because just like we were just told, walking in Mother's garden is activating our energetic field, that new earth lives within us and around us, and a demonstration that our body is a beautiful body, but our real body is our temple, real temple body is our energetic field. And so when we're talking about our bodies, her body, it's not an identification with beauty and physical beauty. It is a feeling of unification with her energy. And so it's a vibrational, invisible, energetic body that's so beautiful that we're talking about. And of course, we know that would manifest in physical beauty. Supernova souls, we have been dealing with so much technological interference and toxicity. And when that toxicity and interference lets up, we're going to realize that the way we've kept ourselves alive through this time is through our ability at cellular regeneration. And so the toxicity is cleared. We start aging backwards and becoming more and more beautiful because it's the truth of who we are in our real body, right? So Uranus back in Taurus might be this, like, hey, our real body is invisible body. Our real wealth is invisible wealth. You guys get it together, right? And that's the mother's teachings too, right? It's, even though she's a physical body, her wealth is her energy field. And that's the connection that we feel when we walk in Mother's Garden. So the Owning Your Energetic Field will be doing Q&As and connected groups, and that's very powerful material. So thank you so much for your support. I hope that you'll be able to join us for the Gemini full moon on Thursday, December 4th, coming up, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. With this full moon, everything we've talked about, this journey to the mountain, like the Sagittarius energy is the glimpse of what's like, but the fog has to clear, right? And then there's this whole kind of like it was a false peak, and we have to tumble down the other side, and we have to find each other on the path to the true summit, and that's this journey ahead. But it all starts with this full moon because the sun is coming into the square with the nodes, and for the full moon, right? So the nodes move back from 14 to 13 degrees, just as the sun and moon make it to 13 degrees in an exact opposition, for the full moon, an exact square with the nodes of the moon. It's so epic, because like we said, 13 represents the feminine that was sullied. And so the 13 is coming, it's like bringing that divine feminine back into her rightful throne, her rightful place in the world. And that's going to require us facing the darkness and clearing up these, whatever we can't take with us, right? This time of the journey that's a little rocky and rough. Purification is the name of the game, And so this full moon starts this whole pattern because, like I said, the day after the full moon, we'll feel Mars coming into square with Saturn. So it's a face down, square down with the old you and the new you, the lies, the delusions, the true you, what's underneath it all, like really we have to be willing. It's so difficult, It's almost like in our willingness to say, oh, okay, these oppressors are not like me and I was manipulated, so I need to see that so I can be empowered. But that empowerment in itself is also facing the shame where we got so far away, facing the shame where we gave away our power. And it's just like an excruciatingly painful time into deep regrets, and the karmic pain. So this is the redemption, because with the connection back to Mother and the feeling of the visceral, beautiful dream, then forgiveness is possible. We all say we've forgiven, but we only reincarnate because we hold grudges. And so we have to find this full and true forgiveness, but how can we until we claim back the treasure of the Holy Grail, which is this connection to Mother Earth, very connected to the sacred lineages and this DNA healing. Oh, so many mysteries coming forward as these personal planets go through what they need to go through to go to the top of the mountain and receive back the true vision, the true understanding. Not the Sagittarius, what's off in the distance, but the Aquarius knowing of the mysteries and returning of the mysteries, returning of the gold all the way back to Atlantean time as we face down Pluto and get back the records, and line up and see the truth and get on with it, So incredibly powerful time. So the full, I hope you can join me for that, us for that full moon activation, incredibly powerful activation of the divine feminine, healing of the delusions, the dark mother that is AI mother that works through scarcity and withholding and control. This is so different. She shines equally upon, you know, and but there's also that true redemption that's coming, right? In forgiveness is the redemption, and it's not retribution anymore. It's redemption, coming back into the fold, you know? And so it's such a different relationship to authority. And it's like kind of like that energy is meeting Pluto on the mound is pulling back in our own authority within our being. The sacred fire is within. The burning bush is right here. Are you feeling it? Your heart chakra activating, coming online. A sacred technology is about to burst. I think my heart's breaking. I think I'm having a heart attack. Oh, no, I think it's breaking open. You know? Because the love, we got to feel it. We got the heart chakra last to come online. And we got this beautiful, intelligent communication between our root chakra, feeling fundamentally safe on Mother Earth, and our heart chakra activation. So that's a lot about meeting Pluto, because Pluto has that destructive quality, right? And so the destructive quality under false authority, external authority, is very damaging. The destructive quality and internal authority is combustible power that purifies all. It's a massive shift, 180-degree turn, and we've got whiplash. You know, that's what this time is about. So use the energy of the Grand Water Trine to help you harmonize all of this intensity of facing these, and just surrender to the moment, because it is temporary. She says, you are going through it right now, you know, but can you surrender to the intensity of the growth and the transformation, the healing and the facing of the darkness, and at the same time hold this possibility of ecstatic union, of it's all worth it, and complete and total forgiveness that brings redemption to the earth? You know, because we can only hold that when we're in the gloriousness of her body. This is what America represented. They called her a goddess, the goddess Columbia. You know, so the Revolutionary War was defending old Tartaria and the resources from the global powers, you know? And so in that way, the revolutionaries are very connected, even though there was all these atrocities that happened on a soul level. The true American revolutionaries working on the same team as the Native American tribes that were trying to protect ancient Lemuria, the Lemurian lineages, you know? And then think about the divisive forces that kept them from working together. You know, I mean, it did happen, but, you know, there's a lot to get cleaned up to get our goddess back. But that was originally what the revolutionaries felt and saw, was this Garden of Eden and the breadbasket of America as Columbia, the goddess, you know, and something to fight for. So it's the same as the Knights of the Templar before they were corrupted. You know, all of the true impulse of the spiritual prophets is this love for the divine feminine principle, this loving relationship to the goddess that we get to walk upon. It's where we get all of our resources, everything we want and need, you know, and it's glorious and beautiful. So we're making the trek through the birth canal, over the continental divide, up the mountain, come back into alignment, come back into each other, to come back into our magic. Pluto has our magic, saying, come to the top of the mountain, you know. And so here we go. So full moon, that full moon on Thursday will be with that exact square with the nodes of the moon. So we're looking at the destiny of Pisces energy moving us forward, this reclaiming the miracles and magic and spiritual impulse. Saturn just turned direct. And then South Node in Virgo, very activated. When do we complete our mission to clean up the earth, right? Cleaning up the earth means just getting into a juicy relationship with her creation energies, you know? So in this process, we have to have a complete rearranging of the way we were thinking. All of us. No matter how much we think we know and how much we think we figured out, we have to have a complete rearranging of like, I think I could have been wrong about that. I could have been letting my own misunderstanding of the delusion of the situation skew my view of the truth. Because the whole delusions of the Piscean age were about obscuring our view of the truth, remembering the truth of who we really are. And here's our turnaround moment. Here is our birth. Are we going to take it? Are we strong enough? Can we overcome the Stockholm Syndrome? Can we live psychically free without being handled by the Matrix? Can we walk in Mother's Garden? So it's with Uranus just coming out, or in that sextile with Pluto. So we'll still be feeling the effect of tomorrow's Venus sextile Pluto, and it's that glimmer into the true authority of the divine feminine, right? Oh, this is the piece we're missing. Okay. And then we have to go through the whole pilgrimage and the birth canal and the journey up the mountain to get to the alignment. But it's like really January and February in Capricorn, Aquarius, this whole lining up of planets is about coming into true authority. So now it's like Venus is informing Pluto, saying, well, wait a minute, dude. Like, you've got our magic, but I've got the true authority. So we're not going to play these games anymore, right? And Pluto gets over, and Mother Goddess sits on his throne. It was only a player. And so overcoming the need for destruction, because we've got transmutation now. Powerful in that last week of January, when all those personal planets come up to Pluto. And Venus, Mercury, the Sun, and Mars. And it's really about reinstating the goddess on the throne in our psyche, getting our crown chakra back. So, very, very key time. There's a personal planet parade, right? Where they get on the path together and are going up they've gotten the mountain, they're on the ridge and the plateau after all those hard squares. And then, so our personal planet parade is from over the 2nd to the 25th of January. And then the Pluto planetary parade is from the 17th to the 1st of February. And so it's like they're coming together to powwow and be like, oh, all the parts of myself, and then taking back of the power internally for the Aquarian age visionary leaders to have their final initiation. And then we run with it with the year of the fire horse. So there's a key time from the 17th to the 25th of January where we've got the overlapping of these parades. And I don't know, it's a very powerful time there, because it's when the sun moves into Aquarius. And so it's like all those planets moving into Aquarius, but before they meet up with Pluto. So a glorious celebration, a reintegrating of all of these parts of ourselves that have been fractured, personality constructs from past life pain, from programming of this life. It's all about putting ourselves back together. And in order to do that, we've got to face and heal the darkness, the Grand Water Trine, with harmonious love and connection, and then say yes to the birth canal and the narrow passage, the excruciating corner, and so that we can get back to each other for the planetary parade, back into our internal authority, our sovereignty, so that we can be the leaders that we're called to be in the Aquarian age. So that's the journey ahead. And but right now, it all starts with this full moon. So I hope to see you Thursday at that activation, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, Thursday, December 4th, for that Taurus full moon. And then also, thank you so much for your support. It is so helpful at this time I love to be here with you and share these messages. And I really welcome your support. And so thank you so much for taking advantage of those classes, Owning Your Energetic Field and Goddess Activation pre-recorded video courses. Also the SuperNova Tribe membership group, $20 a month. It gets you into resources to support you as a Supernova soul. Supernova Zoom calls together as we figure all of this stuff out and begin to move forward as a group, as well as the new and full moon activation. And so a great way to support this movement. Also, if you just want to give a donation, there's 2 different links that can work for a donation. They're listed in the information box below, as well as information to sign up for that activation, join the membership group, or get those classes. I'm also offering a limited number of individual sessions, intuitive astrology readings and intuitive healing sessions, which is the deep, powerful past life work. And so keep in mind these ways to be a part of this movement and to offer your support and be a part of branding and moving forward. Who are we and what are we doing? So we can hit the ground running when we get to February, March. It all culminates in that beautiful July period of time when we claim back that, enact fully and completely the Declaration of Independence. So that's what this whole journey is about. And I guess we have to have that psychic independence in order to come back into the connection with Mother, the ecstatic experience of the plasma field magic carpet ride Technicolor dream that this is meant to be. And everything you've gone through is just to prepare you for this. We haven't even gotten started. I was talking about Supernova Soul sharing, be like, well, I'm retirement age. I was like, no, you haven't even gotten started. So it's exciting time, excruciating time to face these darkness, but just feel the feels, and just ask that it be clear of the sorting out, because the sorting out that's happening is, I think maybe that's that Virgo South node that's getting so activated with all our personal planets squaring the nodes. That Virgo South node, when are we going to clean up the earth? When are we going to clean up the earth? And so just know that we're sorting through what gets, in our lives. So everything that's not, we're coming into alignment and sorting through the wheat from the chaff, the Virgo energy of purification and cleaning up. And that's how we get through the birth canal, And so it's interesting because I could see the birth canal and pain of the child coming through and going through that labor process, being a way of orienting towards and clearing, already working on their karma, So the birth canal is a complete clearing of karma, which would make sense with Saturn and Neptune back in Pisces and Uranus back in Taurus. And so we go on this grand journey, and incredibly powerful times we're living in. And maybe if through all the intensity, we can just find those glimmery moments of the miracle of feeling that plasma field, of feeling that connection, safety, love, and possibilities and potential, just glimmering moments. Grab a hold of them, right? It's like sparkling. And don't let yourself get distracted. So much of what we're healing is where we've allowed ourselves to get distracted from what we're really here for, It's just like a whole bunch of war games, right? They wound them, we heal them. They wound them, we heal them. Keep us from just sitting down on the battlefield with that mother authority being like, not in my world. May the balm flow through all the channels, the supernova souls and the meridians of Earth, the ley lines, our glandular channels. May this beautiful, luscious gift, mana from heaven, flow from us. This love that's so powerful, it's disarming. Let the light shine in. And it's like we've had glimmers of this trying to come throughout this whole evolution. And now it's like, and then the dark forces just obscure. And now it's like, no, the egg has been cracked. Mother dragon's baby dragon is coming online, and a new king is born, right? And we're moving into a completely different era. And so can you be Mother Dragon, giving birth to your true self, your true higher self, landing home? That's one way to look at this. Anyway, it's mysterious. I was thinking through, what does it mean for Mercury to go back into the sign of Scorpio? I mean, to go through the third and final pass of Scorpio from the 1st to the 11th, when we're having also that Black Moon Lilith opposite Uranus, the darkness that's keeping the true wealth from being revealed. And it's just incredibly powerful, but I was kind of drew a blank. It was like, I don't know. I don't have anything to say about this. I have no idea what the read is of this next 2 weeks of Mercury in this third pass through the water trine, but we've got excruciating squares. And it's like, so let me know what you think, and this is the beautiful thing about SuperNova tribes coming into more communication, because when I'm giving these messages and you're like, wait a minute, did she read my journal? It's like, yes, I did, because we're talking on this other level, because we're so connected on a soul level, and that we're going through these similar things. And so this is, the messages coming through me for the SuperNova tribe are from all of us. And we need to get together on that and be like, oh, I'm a part of this, feel and figure out who are we and what are we as we move forward as our brand and what we're doing here, So exciting times lie ahead, and that's the visionary sessions. I hope you'll consider joining. Those are the Friday sessions, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 4 of them in December, and then a sharing circle. And so I would love to have you with us for that. If you feel called to be the beginning of the new backdrop of the rainbow technicolor dream that is Mother's World, a mother in charge again. And we kind of talk it through and share and figure out what it is we're really doing so we can be ready to share it with the masses. The more I've just really strived to kind of get to the essence and like the depth of this information and just be real and clear, true. But the more truthful what's come through the SuperNova channels has gotten, the audience has gotten smaller and smaller, right? It's like for a very specific soul group. And now it's time to say, okay, who are we? Cream of the crop. What are we doing? You're still here. I'm still here. How did we make it through this? I don't know. But why? What are we going to do next? And so it's so beautiful to begin this journey of true collaboration. Now that the forces have relaxed and released enough for us, our power, our permission, our devotion, bringing us back together to get to work. So I invite you to become a part of that soul tribe, and also these visionary sessions, very important moment for us to do this work during December. I'm so happy to be here with you. And so we're also, all this work we've been doing on the SuperNova tribe is leading up to the soul group session that will happen on Saturday, December 20th for the solstice. And so that will be well before the solstice, exact time of the solstice, but it will be a beautiful opportunity for us to set an energy and set a tone, because that solstice, when Venus is in square to Saturn, Black Moon Lilith moves over into the sign of Sagittarius, having this glorious rebirth we're feeling with Venus coming back online now. The phoenix returns, the fine feminine rising from the ashes. And so that solstice is a very powerful moment. And so that'll be on Saturday, December 20th. On Friday, December 19th, will be the Sagittarius new moon activation. And then those visionary sessions will happen for that week. It'll happen Thursday the 18th. So it'll be really powerful time to really be together and focus for these very special moments. And I'm just so appreciative of the connection of you showing up and going through what you've gone through to be here. So thank you so much for your support. It means so much to me. And for your donations, for being present, for being here, for holding these concepts, and being on the team of the magic carpet ride that is coming back to the loving mother Earth as not our God or our, but our guide, our love, the ground we walk upon, the loving mantle that moves us, and dances with us and celebrates with us, and just so be open to these feelings of ecstasy and gratitude and redemption and forgiveness, clear the slate so we can come back to the love that we really are. So thank you so much, SuperNova souls, for your support, for your devotion, for making it through all you've made it through, to be here right now together. I cannot wait to meet you on the path in person, 2 or more coming together in this love of Mother Earth. That's the powerful force. She says, get together on these ley lines, these, where these magical spots are. They call to you on the earth. Get together, 2 or more. I said, Mom, what do you want us to do? And she says, dance, sing, and play. It's all together, 2 or more, on the location. It's all that's required. Vibration, healing, love, celebration, gratitude, chakra awakened, and forgiveness and redemption for all the dark that may have happened to try to shut down that chakra. All the dark rituals in the basement, that were designed to create trauma overlay on Mother Earth, to shut down her chakras, right? But her children are back online, and we're called to these locations, 2 or more, to dance, sing, and play, And so our first journey together up the mountain. That'll be really fun to connect in January energetically and online as we go through this and build this branding, build this soul tribe, this rebrand, this new website, this new way to connect and be together that's all of ours, And it's like I can see it like all of our light kind of going, where am I? I'm lost in the dark, but my light's coming on. I'm starting to be able to see something. But oh, there you are. Wait. And all of our light coming together when one big searchlight and illumination on the path ahead for humanity as we walk forward in celebration, finally worthy of what's ours, which is just peace. The greatest, it was like going through what we've gone through. It's like the greatest gift, the greatest wealth is just be a little bit of peace, right? And we could put it in like, could I just make sure that bill's paid or whatever? But it's like just a little bit of peace is really what it's all about. Psychic peace. We've been on the run and now being chased down, but the year of the fire horse, turnaround moment, and the hunters become the hunted. And we're chasing them down with this backdrop and the dream of Mother Earth saying, we win again. Comply or remove yourself. It's not mothers. It's not like a redemption. It's not like a, punishment like that, this karma that's playing out. It's just like, do you want to be on board or not? Just figure it out, right? You just be on board or don't be on board. You can't be on halfway or on board because then you're feeding the lower forces. So it's like we've been kind of trying to gather up these lost souls. Are you on board? Are you on board? Are you on board? Battling the edges and the frays of the darkness in the streets, the dark soul depths of the journey, through facing the darkness alone and the family distortions and the addictions and the control and the narcissism. And it's just like so overwhelming. And, but it's such a quick turnaround on this that we have whiplash. And that's what the whiplash is, this birth canal part. How traumatic does our birth have to be? Keep in mind, we've got that effect of the grand water trine with Mercury and the grand water trine through most of December. And so and Jupiter and Saturn still, within a degree of each other, 2 degrees of each other. So just use this grand water trine. Say, oh no, this is harmonized. Mom's got me. This is all about coming back into the fold of her arms. Then I can I can forget and I can be redeemed, and redemption happens to all things. Everything's returned back to sender and owner. And I don't have to even worry about it or do it. I'm not the doer. I'm not the actor. Acts come because I feel inspired, because she moves me, you know? And the idea of God moving you is a cool thing, but don't you think it's really mom that moves us? Like, she's the mule that gives us the nudges because it's the energy field. So we're really moving in our destiny, and we're really in alignment with what wants to come forward from within us. Then she's the one moving us. So we best come back into connection and reverence and love and gratitude and celebration with her, don't you think? A dance? Us dancing in our activating field and her activating field, a beautiful tapestry of the Technicolor dream on a magic carpet ride. So let's go. Thank you, Supernova Souls, for your soul strength and for being here and for all your support. I love you so much, and I look forward to seeing you soon, hopefully at that full moon activation Thursday, the next update, the visionary sessions starting Friday. Thank you so much for being with us and for your support, and I love you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.